Hi everyone, and welcome to our Daily Dani show, which I'm super excited to let you know that our very, very first guest is my very dear friend, Patrick Moratoglu. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you, Dani.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited too.
Yes, I'm super excited because this is our first episode, and I think there is so much we can discuss and talk about as far as your career, as far as obviously your players. Probably the most exciting news lately that another book is coming out, Champion Mindset. But let's just focus first on Madrid, European clay court season. We both come from Europe. How much do you enjoy this part of the season, and how much of an advantage it is to have that cultural, I would say, experience and knowledge?
It's funny you asked me that question because just a fefew days ago I was really realizing how much we as Europeans feel so much more comfortable in Europe. I'm in Spain and I'm French, but I feel I'm at home completely. And we just spent a lot of time in the US with 2 big tournaments, 1 month. And it's beautiful places. To Indian Wells and Miami, it's tough to beat. I don't feel at home at all. So you can't feel the same. And I know for American people, it's very difficult, Europe. Traditionally, they never play well in Europe because they don't feel at home. So it's very, very important. And I don't know, it's difficult to explain exactly why. For sure, the food, the architecture, all these things, the thing you see, the thing you eat, the things you smell probably, I mean, all our senses, we just feel different. But really, I love it.
I would say we get satisfied from all different angles when you think about it. Now, talking about the cultural differences, how much your work involves around understanding your player, where they come from, different cultures, say Serena, Coco, Naomi, obviously completely different mentality to, say, Stefanos, Olga. How much as a coach you have to take that into consideration?
But, this job is, of course, we're talking about tennis, but they're not robots, they're human beings. And the human being that is behind the racket is probably more important than the tennis player. And you know it because, I mean, you've been there. You know that in the top 100, all the players play great. It's not necessarily, and usually not, the more gifted ones that make it to the top. There are some guys who are much more gifted, they are much more talent, but this is not with the talent that you reach the top, this is with your mindset. It's all about it. And it's funny, I did this also with, when I coach a young player, I want them to realize how much their mindset will make their career. So I always do this. I did it with Holger not so long ago. I said, okay, define Rafa, Novak, Serena. I took a few names and I said, tell me 2-3 words about them.
Okay.
How would you define them? So the words that came back was competitiveness, hard worker, fighters. So never, ever I heard the word talent. That's interesting. So that's really their personality. So to come back to your question, I see my job as much and probably even better as understanding my player well enough so I can guide him or her through a journey to understand where the strength is, to be able to achieve more emotionally, develop all the things that will be necessary that I just talked about, the fighting spirits, the resilience, all those things. And I do that also throughout the experiences they go through, because they're going to live a lot of experiences in this tennis life. And every experience, if it's handled the right way, will help them develop what they will need to have at the top, the resilience, the courage, the fighting spirit, the work ethics. Every experience is helping them develop that. But for that, I need to know them enough so I can know how to trigger that in them. So, of course, the country culture is very important, but it's one element, where they come from, which family, who are the parents, because that's very important. That's where they really come from. Yeah. What are the parents doing? How are they thinking? Who are their friends? How do they feel in a lot of different situations? And when I know my player really well, whatever happens, I can feel what they feel because I've done the work with them. And when you reach that level of understanding, then you can really help them a lot.
So how much of for your work, tennis, mental fitness takes place in your preparation?
Everything's important. I cannot say that the fitness that is not important. Fitness is extremely important because all the players are at the top physically. All the players are at the top technically, much better than 20 years ago. Much better because the competition is getting stronger and stronger. So, of course, everything has to be in place, and it's funny because you did this with your hand, and you're right. Everything is linked.
Yeah.
You know, you work on a technical thing, it's going to have mental consequences. It can bring stress, it can bring confidence. Depends how you do it and when you do it, how you approach it. So you have to always think when you change something of all the consequences, because there will be positive ones, there will be also negative ones. You have to anticipate them, otherwise you can't control what's going to happen. And of course you cannot control everything, but my job is to try to control as much as I can. Otherwise, I don't want to flip a coin every day.
Sure.
I want to be sure that everything has been done for my player to be competitive. So I work on everything, but I think, again, the developing the personality in the direction of what they will need to compete at the highest level and be the best, I think is the most important work. And you know, I've worked, as you know, with Serena for 10 years. And if you ask me to define Serena, it's her mindset that makes the difference. Yeah, she has a great game, of course. Yes, she's strong physically, okay. But she's Serena because of her mindset. End of the story. You give the same person, the same player, a different mindset, and maybe she will never win a Grand Slam. If the mindset is not good, no, I don't think so. And it's funny because when I started, a lot of things come to my mind. When I started, there was someone who was with her for many years. And on a big point, second serve, she goes for an ace and she misses, double fault. And the guy gets angry next to me, sitting in the stand next to me. He says, "Oh, she's so stupid. Why she does this? She's always this stupid thing like that." He says this. And I turned to him and I said, "But that's why she's Serena. Because, yes, a few times she misses, but this mindset made her win so many matches. So you see now she made a double fault. You pissed. But if she wouldn't take the responsibility on the big points, she wouldn't be Serena."
Yeah, I can prove that how many times on a break point I got aced by Serena from the second serve, yes.
And she's okay to miss because she takes responsibility. So that's the mindset, once again.
Talking about the mindset, and obviously the name of your book couldn't be more accurate, that is called Champion Mindset, and well done. I was already reading through it, and it's super inspiring, not only for tennis players, but I think anyone that really wants to go after their dreams and become really successful despite the difficulties and challenges that we will all have to go through. And it's something I really would like to ask you, Patrick, how important it is, especially in today's world with the social media and everything else we've got going on. I think especially the younger generation maybe is looking for things to get in a quick, easy way without having to really dig deep into themselves. Would you say the champion mindset is really one thing that to get, you just have to accept that life's tough?
Yeah, and it's great.
Exactly.
It's great. You know, all the strongest people, they have had difficult lives. And I have a lot of friends who were coming from difficult background and they became extremely successful financially. They're extremely rich. And every time they tell me, because I'm friend with them, they tell me, "Oh, I don't want my kids to go through what I had to go through." And I said, "But this is completely wrong. Because you are who you are, because you had to face all these difficulties and you built yourself finding solutions in a difficult environment." And I'm not talking only about financial. Yeah, of course, when you come from a very poor family, it's more difficult. But there are mental things that are much more difficult than to be poor. I don't want to compare, it's different things. But I think when you go through tough times, it's great because that will make you a much stronger person, much stronger. And I explain in the book where I come from. And I don't come from a poor family at all, but what I had to deal with was, for me, overwhelming to a point I could not. And it lasted for 10 years, or probably more. And I was suffering from the morning to the evening and even the night, because I was having panic attacks every night, every single night. Panic attacks. I couldn't sleep. I was maybe going to sleep at 4, had to wake up to go to school. I was terrible at school. I was not understanding what I was supposed to do. I was the worst, so the teachers were really tough on me. I was sick. I was shy. I couldn't talk to anyone. But do I want to trade my past? No, of course not. I would never be who I am, and I'm happy about who I am. I would never have this life that I built if I didn't go through that. Was it tough? You have no idea how tough it was. No, I wanted to die, really. I couldn't live. My life was a nightmare. Yeah, but I found solutions. And this is exactly the topic of the book. Of course, my situation was extreme. I mean, not everybody has to deal with such difficult mental issues when they're young, but life is difficult for everyone. And especially young people, they have to find their way in this life that is not easy. Life is tough. And yeah, so that's the topic of the book, how to deal with that. And what I did, and I didn't know what I was doing at that time, I did coach myself. Yep. I found solutions to talk to me, take decisions. I mean, all the things that a coach would help you to do. I had no coach, and I know that 99% of the people in this world will never have a coach in their life. I'm not talking about tennis players, but all the others, I mean, who can afford a coach? Not many people. So, and they need to deal with their life. And, you know, life is short. Life can be incredibly beautiful, exciting, and anyone can live this life. Really, anyone. Honestly, if I did it, coming from where I'm coming, anyone can do it. But they need to coach themselves, because nobody's going to help them. That's the only way. And that's the topic of the book, how to make the successful life you want, dealing with what you have to deal with. And how do you do it? That's exactly it.
How do you create that in a player, though, where, like you said, let's say we are more of a privileged group where you can afford the advice on anything you want. You have the nutritionists, the cooks these days traveling with the player. How do you do that as a coach to actually make them independent on you, so that, you know, once they retire, they actually know how to coach themselves, and it's a natural way to do things?
So my way of coaching is not really much giving advice. I don't believe in advice. I think what is really staying in you is what you experience. So I like experiences much more than advice. Actually, there is an Ethiopian saying that I love that says, when people don't listen, let adversity teach them. You, me, anyone in the room, we are the result of all the experiences we went through and all the conclusions we made out of every experience. So when you are a tennis player, you have experiences every day. Practice, good practice, bad practice, good behavior, bad behavior. It's not a judgment. Efficient behavior, non-efficient behavior. Tough matches, a loss that is devastating you. It happened to everyone. Incredible joy, moments of joy, and then 2 days after or the day after, you lose against a player you think you would never lose to. You know, all these are experiences. So I see my job as, I'm next to you. I'm here. We're going to go through the experiences, and we're going to find the way to the top together. And I know how much bad experiences can create trauma. That's going to be, then you're going to hit a wall after that. So, of course, as much as I can, I find a way to avoid the too bad experiences. I cannot avoid to lose matches. That's part of the game. But what is important is when you lose a match, you can, a few hours later, feel amazing. You can really. Yep. But there is only one way, is to understand. When you understand how to be better after you lost a match, that's, I can tell you, I mean, you know, because you were a great player. you feel great. But I don't see that very often with players. They don't always. I help them take the lessons. I ask questions. For example, you're losing a match today. I would come to you and say, okay, if you play the same player tomorrow, what are you going to do? What are you going to change? They learn something. Why did they lose? It's important for them to understand, because when you understand why you lost, you have a good chance first to win next time you're going to play the same player, but also to improve. Really, you can improve so much by understanding why you lost a match. But now, what I want is wins, because this builds your confidence, and these positive experiences will make you a different player. So, of course, you have to have a percentage of win that is much higher, and in top 100, there most of the time that's not the case. And when I coach young players, and we have many at the academy, I always tell the coaches, I want 70% of wins. That's what I want. So, and if you don't get it, go to lower tournaments, but keep the percentage of wins. Whenever they lose, they learn, but they have to keep winning. So that's my job. But it's not like you should do this, you should do that. This, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in it.
Coaching a female or a male player? Careful what you say.
No, it's completely it's completely different.
I think I know the answer, but
we're in the world of politically correct. So what if I tell you it's going to
honest
sound
answer.
Bad. Oh yeah, no problem. I have no problem with that, and I hate politically correct. So I hate it. It's very different because simply women and men are different creatures.
So far, so good.
No, I heard a lot of wrong things, like, oh, women are so much more emotional than men. That's what I heard every time about coaching players. Huh? I always say I don't agree with that. I think men are as emotional as women.
Really? Oh,
yeah. The difference is
we take longer.
Men don't show it because they want to look strong. They have big egos, and they think it's not manly to show emotions, so they hide their emotions. But I can tell you, they're scared the same way before the matches.
Really?
They're pissed the same way. No,
Gee,
same.
why am I still not playing?
Oh, exactly the same. They will not cry because they would be ashamed to cry, but they will feel like crying. A woman will not be ashamed to cry, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can confirm.
Exactly. But they feel the same emotion. So they're not more emotional. They share their emotion with you much more, which makes, in a way, my life easier because I know exactly how they feel. Guys, a lot of times, they don't want to show because they feel weak by showing. No, I think the big difference, there is one big difference, and this is the thing you might not like so much, but it's something I've seen all my life, and that a lot of players, women players, have told me also. Men players, they want to feel that they're bosses. They're like, so they want you to be behind them, and they want to feel they take decisions, they take control, they take everything. So as a coach, which is okay, I'm adapting to the people. Women want you to be in front. A lot of them, they feel more secure.
Yeah.
They want you to take this. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, it just came to me that sometimes in a match I felt like, can't you go and play the point instead of me? Yeah.
I feel they're seeking security.
Yeah.
And their way of feeling secure is to have next to them a coach that takes decisions for them. Not that they can't, but it makes them feel secure. I've seen that with most of them, and a lot of them have told me that also. I mean, not player that I was coaching, but discussing. But I think it's just men and women are different, and you have to adapt to them in order to make them. Because if you don't do that if you try to coach a man like you would coach a woman, he would hate it, and it's not going to work. And vice versa. I think there are exceptions, of course, but I think that most of the female players like when the coach is taking a lot of the decisions for them.
So how do you take that away and throw it back to us? Because I think ultimately that's what we need to. If there is one thing I wish I would have been different about, is this, to trust myself more, I would say, and not hoping someone's gonna somehow magically do it for me.
I'm not saying that they want you to do their job. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they like you to take the decisions. Tell them, okay, we're going to practice at that time. We're going to do this. That makes them feel secure. And if they have a great connection with you and they trust you and you do that, they feel amazing and it helps them play well. They're confident on the court. If tomorrow suddenly you tell them, okay, you decide, they're going to panic.
Yeah.
And it's true also for some men who have been with their parents
Yes.
throughout their childhood and continuing after, and parents that are deciding everything for them. If those players suddenly have to take decisions, it's very stressful because they're not used to. It's just that they're not used to it. And I think to get used to it takes a long time and the career is short.
Yeah.
It's a risk I can take as a coach to say, no, it's not, you take decisions, but I don't think it's going to work. I don't think the results will be there. Maybe after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, finally they will find a new balance being able to do it. But, you know, that's not my role to make them lose for 2 years. I mean, they feel good that way. I'm not here to judge. I give what they want to feel good and perform.
What is the most ridiculous coach on court comment request you had from a player? I did once ask my coach to come just to tell him to get one person out of the box.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, are you kidding me? Did you have?
Oh, this is quite frequent, huh? I see a lot of players.
That's why I'm asking.
No, this is frequent.
You don't have to say names, but where you were like, wait, what? Did I just hear that?
No, this is frequent. No, I mean, quite a lot of players also get angry at their box when they're losing.
You seem always so calm. Are you nervous? Are you stressed during the match? You seem to have it under control.
I try not to be stressed because when you're stressed, when you have too much emotion, you don't see clearly things. I mean, I need to react. I need to find the right word if it's necessary. You know, if I need to change the mindset of a player, and I need to say the right thing at the right time. I need to be focused. So, I mean, stress has nothing to do there. Otherwise.
Yep. Okay. You were so politically good, you didn't say anything. Okay. I feel
what do you mean? Oh, about players?
Yeah, like a comment that would be like, really?
I mean, we hear the same thing on TV, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time we hear what they say.
Yeah, true. Okay. I feel like we could sit here forever and talk in so many different subjects. But one, I would like to just quickly at the end discuss 1996. How do you suddenly decide, okay, I'm going to build one of the biggest tennis academies in the world?
It's funny you say that because that's exactly what I said.
That's what
I was 26 years old, and as I told you, I went through so many difficulties, and then I couldn't finish school. I was so bad. I started to work. I did a lot of different jobs, and finally, my father has a big company. So I ended up working with him, and he told me, oh, you're ready, so we can be business partners, and it was easy. I would have been instantly rich. I mean, it was the easy way. Sure. First, I didn't want that, so I said no. And second, I realized that, tennis is so important to me, second thing. And third, which is even more important, when I was 16, my dream was to be a tennis player. I was one of the best in my year of birth in France when I was young, and I was sure I would be a tennis player. I had zero doubt. That was the only thing I cared about. As I told you, I had difficulties everywhere. The only place that saved me was a tennis court. That was the only place where I was good at something, and I felt a little bit confident about something. Everywhere else I was a disaster. And when my parents told me, no, you're not going to be a tennis player because you need to study, my life just disappeared. Yeah. It took me 10 years to recover from it. We'll go back to 1996. And then when I thought about what I'm going to do in the next 20, 30, 50 years, I don't know, I thought, well, of course I'm going to do that. I'm going to give kids the chance that was not given to me in the sport that I love the most. This is what I'm going to do. And of course, when I do something, I want to do it at the top of what I can do. So I went to all the agents. I was nobody knew me. And I said, and I was renting 2 courts in a club. I was not a fancy tennis academy, I can tell you. And I said to them, help me, send me some good young players. And if you do so, then I'm going to have all the best in Europe. I'm going to send them to you. You can sign them. And they all laughed at me, at my face. They said, prove something and then we'll talk. They all said this to me, which was fair. but I didn't like it. Gave me more excitement to do it. And I said, I remember what I said. I was a bit stupid. I said to them, "You are very stupid, because what I told you, I'm gonna do. And if you talk to me like this, you're not gonna sign the players. I'm gonna sign them." And they laughed again, and they said, "Oh, you think you're an agent like this?" A few years later, one of the two biggest management company, I hire one of the top agents there, and the CEO of the company calls me and said, "You can do that. This guy from so many years, I prepared him. He's ready now, and you take him away from." I said, "Listen, you don't remember? I told you I would do that." Because when they told me, you think you're going to be an agent like this, I said, "No, I don't know, but you're right. But no problem. I'm going to hire someone who's working for you." And I did it a few years later. That's the story.
How proud are you of where you are right now?
I'm zero. Really. I never look back. Never. I don't care about what I did. I care about what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Well,
no, really. Only one thing. To transform the 16 years old, the kid that I was into the 26 years old adult that was so ready for life, scared of nothing, confident. I still can't believe I did this. I really still can't believe, but I reflected a lot on it. And that's why I wrote the book, to give keys to people, because this I'm really proud. What I did after, that's my life. It's exciting. I had so much fun because I love what I'm doing. Every day I wake up, I'm overexcited because all the things I do, I love. So, but this, I don't want to look back. I look back when I'm ready to die. But for the moment I look in front. And this is also something that all the champions have. That's one of the characteristics. They never look back. Never. Once it's achieved, they look at the next goal. And I always tell this story about Serena. So we start in 2012. She wins Wimbledon, 2 gold, Olympics, US Open, and the WTA Championship. And then she tells me, "You have to help me. I cannot win Roland Garros." Yeah, I won it only once in 2002, so 10 years ago. And every year I failed for 10 years. Can you make a plan for me to win it? We're at the start of 2013. Roland Garros 2013, she wins. She doesn't lose one match on clay the whole season, not one. She won all the tournaments, including Roland Garros. And when the trophy ceremony ends at the end of Roland Garros, we go to she said, "Come with me, I want to stretch in the fitness." So we go to the fitness, and literally 2 minutes after, she turns to me and says, "Okay, now we have to win Wimbledon." Yeah. She was already thinking about Wimbledon. 2 minutes after, a title she was chasing for 10 years.
Yep, that's it. I think it's a wonderful way to finish our conversation today, which I hope will continue in the future. I know you don't have the time to be proud of yourself, but we are very proud of what you do for tennis in general, because of your love, your passion, your experience, and everything you do, not only for your players, but just from the love of the game. I think we're all very grateful, and I'm personally very grateful that you were my first guest on the Daily Dani.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be the first one.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dani.